Who is Shane Warren? Suppose basically I'm, a middle-aged cranky father who's based in Sydney, who splits his time across Sydney, Singapore and Hong Kong. But besides that, I am a normal kind of guy moving through life, making change where I can. Forgive me, I've had to put some pointers in here, otherwise this video would be very boring. So I'm going to raise to you what I'm talking about each time so you know what I'm talking about. Why do you coach people? I got into coaching kind of a bit out of accident, out of, I suppose, a natural default. I have been working in private practice since 1994 as a psychotherapist, and I kind of realised when coaching was being a very trendy thing, if you go back to the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, it became very trendy. I realised, oh my goodness, a lot of the work I do with my clients is in fact coaching. So I just basically then started to add this tag on in my work was being a coach. And what it was about is actually a lot of the work I was doing then, a lot of work I can continue to do, is about helping people go from one space where they may be confused, unhappy, there may be some angst in their world, and they want to move forward into another space. And, the work as a psychotherapist is very much, therapeutic, looking at what led people to that point, what dramas they might have had and what they might have learned from that, which is a great base to work from then to move forward. What do we need to do now? What's the next bit? So, that's how I fell into coaching. And look, I continued it and I've gone into it because I enjoy it. I enjoy challenging people to move to that next step and to not stay stagnant. We all need that. And I think sometimes that's the advantage of being a coach, is having someone who gives us a good kick up behind to keep going and to make those changes we have to make. Coming up next, we have... Ooh. How would you describe your coaching style? Well, it's very interesting. These questions I got reflect some of the way in which I actually do my coaching style. And that is actually where I asked one of my clients to say, look, if you were going to get a video about me and you were going to ask a few questions, what would those questions be? And she came up with these questions. So that's kind of a cool thing. So that, I think, reflects my coaching style. My coaching style is about working with people. Where are they at? Where do they want to go? What challenge we need to have? And I think, one of my clients from Japan, she put in a very good case to me just recently, where she was actually saying, one of the things I like about you, Shane, is, there's these different types of people in my kind of work. There's people who wear the poor-cutting cheap suits, there's people who wear the designer suits, and then there's people like you, Shane, who are a bit like a jeans and t-shirt consultant. What you see is what you get, and that's very much the way I am. It is, what you see is what you get. I will be blunt with you, I'll be direct with you, I will challenge you, I will embrace you when you need embracing, will support you when you need supporting, but I also am not here to blow smoke. So I will actually, give you the challenges that you need. So watch out might be the way to look at that. Next. Are there any models or techniques that you tend to lean in favour? No. Look, I think, by my primary basis of training is that of as a shrink. So, that embeds strongly very much as a psychotherapist. In School of Psychotherapy, one of the things that we do believe in is that we have multiple disciplines of training, multiple bases to work from, and we work from what needs to happen to help that client in that moment, in that space, shift. So, look, I don't have a great deal of, must-have sort of processes. I do work a lot around a resilient mindset, so that's something I talk a lot about with my clients, and that's because that's the area that I've actually done a lot of research. It's the area in which I'm quite published within, so that would be probably my only discipline I could say that I follow, Next, do you specialise in any areas? Again, no. I work with people from a variety of backgrounds, from a variety of needs bases. I work with people who are... come to me because they're high executives, stressed out, wanting to change their careers. I work with people who have come there because they want to take the next step in their career. So I don't really have that. Could never say, oh, you're a sales coach. No, I'm not a sales coach. I'm not a remedial skills coach. So, I'm an executive coach that works with people where they're at. I have a lot of theories around what makes a good salesperson, just have a lot of theories what makes a good leader. And I will work with those people to find solutions to help my individual clients achieve what they can achieve. So, moving forward on that one. Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses, so it's a bit hard to read this. What is your career background? My career background. I suppose I've got into the career I'm at now after a long journey. I started my life in the welfare sector. I worked in youth welfare. I was a kind of a leader in that area, in the sense that I was responsible for coordinating and developing youth service programs in a variety of areas across a certain area of Queensland. So, you know, I covered from the border, going up across to just around the base of the Toowoomba Mountain, Toowoomba Range. And we looked at, you know, homelessness, we looked at, you know, kind of kids leaving school and what needs they had, a whole heap of stuff. So that was my kind of starting point there. I moved from that into a world of academia, where I worked with looking at the NIAS, National Affairs Research Scheme. I was an in-house researcher with those, based with the Queensland University of Technology, School of Culture and Social Policy. So we looked at a whole heap of stuff around that for a long time. I moved across from there into direct government and federal government policy advice, and then eventually kind of run out of stuff, got a bit old, couldn't really call myself a youth worker anymore, went into corporate welfare and employee assistance program and development and consulting and provided those sort of things. And around that time is when I also established myself in private practice, which I've been in since 1994. So yeah, that's kind of been my process there. In those years, I have owned and operated a number of my own businesses. The largest business was probably where we employed 312 staff to work for us, and so my business partner, who was my mother, that's a bit of a thing. My mother and I ran this program, and we owned healthcare clinics right across kind of Queensland and some into New South Wales. And that was a big business. We sold that, and I moved more exclusively into kind of consulting and development work and training, you know, the kind of stuff that I do. Alright. Do you do face-to-face or online or in-person coaching? I do both. I have to do both. I have private practices quite specifically where my name is on the door in Sydney, Singapore and Hong Kong. Plus also we have what we call calling suites, again where my name is on the door on the Gold Coast and in Melbourne. So I can't be in all those places at once, and I can't work with people, you know, just when I'm in town. So as a result of that, I have developed quite a unique approach where we have a number of face-to-face sessions when we can, in-person stuff, because I think we get a better response there. But it's not always optional. So I use the Balance NeuroAssess platform to do online work with online clinics. So that. What kind of quality teaching do you have? Not sure if I've got any quality teaching. No, I shouldn't say it. Look, you know, I've got a very broad kind of background. I mean, my first academic basis is, in fact, actually in theology and philosophy. And that's partly because of the fact my first job within the youth wealth sector was actually within the Catholic Church. They paid for my study, and they didn't pay for anything else other than a theology and philosophy degree. But that's been a great basis for me, because when I've done that, I have then moved from that and gone into postgraduate studies in the areas of counselling, communication, psychology, and hence became a glorified counsellor, or a psychotherapist is what we technically call ourselves, that kind of thing. But, you know, so I have a broad base there. I was lucky that I've done some really good work in the University of Pennsylvania, studying the resilience stuff under some of the very early pioneers, Barney Seligman and the like, around happiness psychology, positive psychology, and resilience. So that's probably my quality teaching sort of niche. But on top of that, look, you know, like anyone in my profession, I've done thousands of hours of continuous ongoing development and processes. So, is there anything else your clients might like to know better and understand you? So let's say it again. Is there anything else your clients might like to know to better understand you? As I said, I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't read backwards, and I show it up there. What's there to know about me? Look, you know, as I said at the start, you know, who am I? I'm a cranky dad. You know, I'm a father of 3 boys. They're in primary age at the moment, so primary school aged. So that's my kind of side life, and so I'm like every other busy professional, struggling to manage that balance of quality time with children, having a profession and a career that I enjoy, and also kind of like, you know, giving my children the time that I think they want with me and the thing that they deserve. So that's, you know, that process is an interesting process. And I think that kind of is one of the reasons why I often connect quite well with, you know, executives who are in a pretty senior level, who are in a very similar space. So, you know, we can actually sometimes understand each other in the fight we have with our partner about whose turn it is to pick up the kids today. Those kind of things, as also, you know, we get to share and enjoy the excitement of having children. But in saying that, you know, what else? I'm a bit of a yoga person. I'm a surfer, if you can believe that. I actually surf and ski. So I do those kind of things when I get a chance. I don't get the chance as much as I want, but I do it when I can. And look, you know, basically any school holidays, you'll probably find my family escaping off to our beach house or up to the mountains, so that myself and my 3 boys, who I coach, to enjoy both of those things as much as me. So that's my outside life. Other than that, I'm kind of a bit of an open book, a bit of an easy kind of guy. And you can always check out sort of some of my discussions online, because that's where I pop up, you know, on different media channels. All right. That would be it. That would be the end. Thank you very much. Take care, and I hope to speak with you in person sometime. Bye-bye.